Yo gamers, I'm Blueman, and today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite gaming franchises of all time, Halo. Namely, why you should play Halo. So, I'm going to talk more about personal experiences and stuff like that over things like plot. So to do that, we're going to have to go all the way back in time to 2002 or 2003, whichever year it was I first saw Halo. Let's start with my very first experience with Halo. It was the aforementioned year, and one day my dad brought home a brand new console. It was an Xbox, he said. He bought it off a friend of his, and it was the first time I had ever even heard about or seen one of these things before. It didn't look like our PS2 or our GameCube, our SNES or N64. This thing was totally alien in comparison by size, shape, and looks. It also had stickers on it, which is how I knew immediately my dad didn't originally own it, since he was never a, let's add stickers to it kind of guy. So I sat and I watched him set it up and was just drawn in by how the thing really kind of had a vibe of its own. The UI, the startup, the sounds, all of it truly felt like something brand new. And so did the very first game he popped into its disc tray. This screen here, I don't have to say, is very iconic for a good reason. I still sometimes see this screen when I'm sleeping in my dreams, actually, because I've left this menu on the Xbox for longer than I probably should have, so, that explains it, I think. It's why people usually bring up the menu too, though, whenever they talk about Combat Evolved, because first impressions mean everything, and while it's simplistic, it really does well in being your first look at the Halo ring and being memorable. That's how I was introduced to the world of Halo. Now I think it's time we get into, the campaign. I'm not going to be going beat for beat over the plot, like I said earlier, but I will be touching on spoilers. By the way, this is the CE Magnum. It's a 3D printed one that my sister got me, I think, for Christmas of 2022. While I was recording for this, actually, the magazine broke, if you can believe it, and, that's awesome. You can dismantle it and get the magazine through here, though, so, see, it just broke while I was recording, so, that's, awesome. Is this on there? There we go. Yeah, so, that's cool. Before I forget, actually, this guy right here. This is Wobo. He's my clown friend. We get him. Yeah, this is Wobo. He's just a friend of mine. Say hi, Wobo. Yeah, hi, audience. So when I played Halo for the first time, I made my player profile in-game, because back then you couldn't have a console-wide profile like you do nowadays. I started the campaign to see what the story had in mind for a floating ring in space, and it all started on the Pillar of Autumn. The humans aboard this giant spaceship were on the run from a race I thought was called the Covenant. Little did I know it was a collection of races against humanity. So the Pillar of Autumn braces for impact by waking up their soon-to-be cultural impact, the Master Chief. That's who you play as. Little side story, but the tube waking Chief up from cryosleep is Bungie's way of introducing the Chief into the story. But to me, it was how you introduced the Spartan in general, how I understood at the time. So back when I was a kid, we used to have this store called Big Lots where I live, and they sold Halo toys. Spartans, Grunts, Elites, all that stuff. And I owned a red Spartan back when we used to visit that store. At one Christmas, I think it was Christmas of 2005, I got this Snake Eyes versus Storm Shadow dual figure pack from the then new G.I. Joe movie. And both of them had this locker box that they could put all their tools in, like their swords and stuff. So instead, I took out their locker box, and it was big enough to fit my red Spartan. So I used it as his cryo tube, where I would unfreeze him when the world needed him. It's hard to talk about the campaign without naming each level individually because they're all so integral to the experience that is Combat Evolved, but the Pillar of Autumn is a stellar start to kick it all off. I think the reason Combat Evolved's campaign resonates so well is the variety and locations you visit, coupled with a lot of the strange weaponry you get at your disposal. But there's dead space, don't get me wrong. There's some levels here that feel way bigger than they ever really needed to be, and that is an issue for some people coming to try Combat Evolved for their first time in the current years. That being said, I think there's more to play with that offsets the big open-ended levels, because it makes the game feel kind of larger than life. That Grand Canyon vibe of a world that's so large it makes you feel so small. Still, that doesn't really change that it can get long in the tooth, especially for some levels, so the size of levels can be with or against Halo at times. It was also amazing to see Halo connect in the sky when you're on the ring in plenty of the levels, though not all of them, mainly for weather-related reasons. But even this old of a game and seeing that Halo ring above you is pretty awe-inspiring. I think Halo sets a good example of art direction over graphics, and that's why I think it still looks this good to this day despite its age. Even though the graphics are dated for sure, but hey, you can overlook that with some of those wild designs they have in this game. Now, this is the part where I start to kind of talk about the more spoilery part of Halo. I know earlier I said I wouldn't touch the plot, but you really can't talk about Halo's campaign without talking about this. It's what makes so much of that first experience so memorable, so this is your final warning before we enter Spoilerville. I'll section the next part in the video for you to click so you can skip all that, if you want to keep it a secret. Oh, go ahead and listen. The very first time I saw this level, 343 Guilty Spark, I knew something wasn't right when there was fog, a bog, and the Covenant running from something. They don't typically run from me until I kill most of them, yet I'm just dropping in. Experiencing a horror level within an FPS wasn't something I expected from Halo. You can even see teammates on your minimap walking all around you in the deep fog. But when you go to check, there's nobody there. That's my Discord notification. Sorry. The whole segment with the recording and watching Marines find out about the flood gave me nightmares that I somehow look back on fondly, to be honest. But knowing that the ring was actually meant to contain these things and keep them away from everything else really switched up the story, and for me, especially at the time, was super effective at making this one story I'll never forget. Also, let's not forget the most hype moment of Combat Evolved. The Warthog Run. Everyone knows the Warthog Run because it's just that baller of a moment. Dude, the sheer adrenaline little me had when I had to go through the Warthog Run was astronomical, bro. These days it's pretty easy, but man, the controls in bumpy terrain really do not make it easy for first timers, which I think is a good thing because they'll definitely remember this segment. For good or bad, really. And then there's the ending, where you leave the ring and watch it explode. Knowing you've done it. You just finished Halo. Halo explodes and you make it out alive. Woohoo! woohoo! But everyone else is dead, so, that's epic. So I guess the next course of action is to find the rest of humanity to regroup and brace for the Covenant once again. But they leave you one last question that I seriously wanted answered as a kid. Master Chief takes off his helmet, but it's out of view. Who is he? What's he look like? I searched the internet tirelessly to find out, while I eventually did find out, what matters is the mystery of that initial question and how much I wanted to know that question. It's one of the key things I remember so well about this ending, because that search and that mystery and want meant so much to me. Welcome everyone who skipped ahead. I hope you end up enjoying Halo as much as I have. Also, I haven't touched on co-op, but that's something I think you should experience yourself if you haven't already. Halo co-op kind of goes insanely hard, and it's hilarious too. I mean, the amount of memories I have of just us bursting out in laughter from a stupid moment pretty much sums up the entire experience. Also, while we're at it, the plasma pistol in Halo Combat Evolved is godlike.
You're the flamethrower.
Another sniper. This is a joke.
God, dude.
Literally.
Can you, like, not?
I know, right? That was a nice shot. I'm not even gonna lie.
What?
That was. And that's the end of campaign. Christ. A lot of talking, but that's kind of who I am. Now we're going to be entering the fun zone that is multiplayer. It's, for all intents and purposes, multiplayer is very much a party game, kind of akin to like Mario Kart or Smash Bros. Or something, the non-competitive side. It's going to be me, my sister, and my brother in the footage with random weapon starts. Because I heard that there's cheating going on in Master Chief Collection right now, and I didn't feel like paying ransomware to get some multiplayer footage, so I'll start this segment by saying I guess you could play Halo competitively, the multiplayer. There's nothing wrong with that, but it was not made to be competitive, it was made to be fun first and foremost. Because of this, we used to make our own game modes with special rules back then, so now, let me introduce you to one of my special game modes and rules. Warthog Wars. The rules are simple. 2 players hop in separate warthogs, and then they duke it out to see who can kill each other first by flipping their other opponent's warthog and knocking them out of the driver's seat and then running them over. Guns and grenades are prohibited. You can only use your warthog to inflict any sort of damage.
Halo dog fights. Nope. Nope. Nope.
Okay, that's round 1. If there's more than 2 players, the others sit by and kind of just watch them go at it. It goes round robin style, so either loser swaps out or winner swaps out. It doesn't really matter, it's whichever you prefer. Multiplayer gives me a lot of good memories, and getting the footage for this video is honestly a blast because I forgot just how fun Halo's multiplayer is. Like this clip.
Oh my God.
All that just so we both blow up. I don't know how well Combat Evolved's multiplayer would be received these days. Back then, Halo was a system seller for the Xbox, and I think history kind of proves itself there. System Link was kind of the inclusion that pushed that envelope further. Halo was only on Xbox after all, and these days you have stuff like crossplay. Even with the exclusivity aside, this game was made to just be dumb fun with you and your friends. Kinda like GoldenEye 007 on the N64 or Quake 3 on PC. There's not much to the game, really, except you, maybe your teammates, your opponents, the maps that you play on, the vehicles that you can commandeer, and the weapons that you can find all around the map. You can kind of customize your game too to a certain degree on the original release of Halo, but on Master Chief Collection, you can almost entirely customize it to make a truly special match. What I'm trying to say is, Halo is a relic of the past, for both good and bad. And it's just, there's not much to it but to have a lot of fun. And so, I revisit it every now and again and drag people along with me. They seem to be having some fun, and honestly, I think you would have fun playing Halo with your friends even. Here, I'll even give you some encouragement. This is some upcoming footage from when me and my siblings played on Sidewinder.
Dog,
Me.
you really? No. You really just ran up to the Warthog and you got in the driver's seat and not the giant turret behind you.
Yeah, I want to drive it. Okay, you know what? Come here. You guys will never believe what I found.
A Warthog.
Haha.
You gonna hop in the driver's seat and not the turret
Yeah.
again?
Yeah. Here I go.
Bro's like, hey, I got a Glock in my Rari. Not gonna use it though.
I'm using the
Not
block in my
gonna-
Rari. Are you happy?
Not gonna use it though. What? Dude, this is unfair. I don't even know how to throw grenades. This isn't a fair fight. I don't know how to throw grenades, bro. No. Die, no.
You just take them and you go.
No, no,
You did not see that. I hate him.
All of us saying the most stupid crap to the map.
Literally.
Literally.
We unfortunately only played Random Weapons Start Slayer and Warthog Wars, so I have no footage of, say, Capture the Flag. But objective-based game modes make for some of the greatest and funniest moments in Halo history. The maps are all near and dear to me as well. I have a deep connection with maps like Blood Gulch, Sidewinder, Hang 'em High. You know, I spent a lot of time back then just idling and walking around, taking in the maps for, you know, what they were. Not all of them are amazing, you know, but they're all original and they're unique for what they offer. They feel like themselves. I'm looking at you, Chiron.
Get that layout. That layout is cancer.
The Magnum freaking rocks. I thought
Yeah.
it was just a joke.
Oh, hi. How's it going?
It's just a joke. I love you too, Chiron. Your chaotic nature is perfect for random weapons. I don't know. Combat Evolved, it means so much to me. It means enough that it's in my favorite games of all time. Up there, for sure. You know, from campaign to the multiplayer, to being able to look up and see the ring no matter where you are in the map. It was very inspirational to me as a kid, and it's still just overall, the entire vibe of Combat Evolved is very influential even on me to this day. It's why it's one of my favorites, you know, and I just don't think that they would ever be able to create a second one that's somehow even cooler than holy well, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for sticking around till this long. This is my very first time doing a video like this, especially one this long, so I do appreciate it if you've made it this far, and would love any kind of criticisms to kind of maybe help a video in the future. I don't know. But I'm going to leave some clips near the end of the video to just funny clips that didn't make it in. So, yeah. Later, gamers.
Well, I am, so.
You broke my butt, dude!
You took my swag.
You will regret that.
You took
No.
my swag.
There's nothing she can do in that situation.
Ah! If this were an old Disney movie, I'd say you're fired. No, principal, you're blown up with my rocket launcher.
Spawned with a sniper twice in a row.
Oh my God.
Pew!
Yeah, I walked in. I didn't know you fired it, and so I walked the corner, and this rocket goes, "Hey, man," and then kissed me on the lips.
Guys, hold up.
Okay, guys, this is so crazy.
Apparently, well, see, like, you shouldn't be scared of my shotgun, because my shotgun is nerfed, apparently.
How'd you know where I went?
I just followed you, dude.
Yeah, but I thought I broke line of sight, so you... Really? Thanks, Halo.
Okay, I don't know how I knew where you were that time.
We killed everybody killed each other right there.
We killed each other.
Everybody died right there. That's